Monday, I finally opened the door to Cyclical Yoga. It's been a long dream of mine, and even if the circumstances were not quite right yet, maybe a little bit selfishly, I decided to do it anyway. And since we are halfway during the week, I thought to tell you a little bit about my story and how I ended up here with Cyclical Yoga. Some of you think that I always been like this, connected to my body, free and at peace. But those who know me from before know that this is not accurate. I grew up as a rebel. I grew up feeling a bit out of space, as I didn't belong where I was born and raised. The first thing I did to let this rebellion out was to start to party a lot. I also started to travel a lot. And it was during an exchange program in Ireland that I started to practice yoga. And this is when things started to change. Later on, as I was traveling, I started to join the startup world. And I loved it. I love the speed, the urgency, and the idea of building something from scratch. I loved it until it went out of hand. I was always working, feeling this permanent sense of urgency. And eventually an anxiety that showed up in the body as well. When I was younger, I got recovered in emergency twice because of this anxiety. And the crazy thing is that I didn't understand what was going on. Because it wasn't a dramatic change. There was one thing that always kept me anchored to myself. It takes some time to simply practice yoga. Now, to be completely honest, it was yoga and being outdoor, out in nature, out hiking, out swimming, as long as it was outside. Something that you might not know about me is that I love to practice outside yoga as well. It doesn't really matter the temperature, if it's very hot or very cold. I just love this connection to the elements. But something was still missing. And the answer came when I found out about cyclical living, and specifically when I started to study the menstrual cycle. I realized that all this time my body was actually talking to me, sending me signals before things went too far. And for all this time I was simply ignoring it. The same way I learned in English, I could learn also the language of my body. I learned then it's not normal to have a painful period. I used to take painkillers all the time. I realized that those mood swings that we tend to normalize are not so normal after all. And I also learned that it's normal to have change on your energy week by week. And by learning this, I started to notice how everything is actually connected. Yoga was teaching me to reconnect to my body, while cyclical living was teaching me how to talk to it. When I started to bring those two things together, this is when the magic really happened. Back in 2024, I decided to do an experiment. I decided to bring my intimate and personal practice to a small group of women who wanted to try something different. And that was scary. But at the same time, the magic that we created during those 4 weeks, I will always carry it with me. Honestly, that was one of my best offering ever. Because up to that moment, for me, cyclical yoga was a little bit of my secret. And after 2 years, I'm finally ready to deliver something that is very similar to that experiment, but I think it's even better. The vision was to create an online space that, finger crossed, in the future is gonna be offline as well, where you can actually learn week by week how to reconnect with your body at your own timing, with practice and community. Doors to Cyclical Yoga are open until Sunday. After that, I'm gonna close the doors for a few months because I really wanna focus on this first group that is gonna join me now. With that said, you're gonna have 7 days for free, so you have all the time to understand if this space is for you or it's not. I really hope to see you there, and yeah, I guess you can say that I'm very excited about this.